the main focus now for a lot of these teams.
Yeah, and it
But
does going to be
Garage.
So the basement is going to be the defense to start us off here from Pain. A little bit. I mean, I was expecting it to be a trophy as well. To be honest, I think that might have something to do with the. I think that might have something to do with the Ying meta. Oh man, the Ying meta. So it always comes back to that. She is influencing the meta so much more than I anticipated. But I think the reason that we are seeing this basement hold is because Ying can be utilized in the same fashion that Fuse can, in that she can put her flash grenades on, or her candelas as they're called, onto the floor above in office, and then push in through dining and while she's detonating her candela. If you're talking about using the vertical control into the basement of Chalet, I would argue that that's less prevalent, given that attaining control over the floor in the main lobby is actually pretty difficult. Plus, the defenders can influence that directly by simply going up the main lobby stairs.
I don't think right now that Black Dragons was expecting them to go down to Garage. At least their composition does not appear so, as they're not running a Thatcher, they don't have a Thermite, and they don't have a Ying, which isn't necessarily mandatory. But running that Blackbeard and not running a Buck seems to me that they were not prepared for this. And they'll start their assault in typical fashion going upstairs. They're going to leave it up to the Twitch of Kamikaze in order to try and alleviate any pressure that the defenders might have on that garage by the snowmobile. And we'll wait to see exactly where the push is going to come from, whether they focus on that main garage and then pushing up to the wine cellar and adjacent sites, or if they decide to go for a main take on the snowmobile garage. Meanwhile, PZD upstairs gets hit by the Gersmont mine inside of Library, and Ella, being the ferocious roamer that she is, can capitalize on that very quickly, but nowhere nearby in order to do so.
This attack is still going pretty quickly, though, for Black Dragons, given that they've already established control over the trophy itself, and that's going to allow them to start pushing into the wine cellar hallway and apply pressure to the bomb site. The bomb site is, however, stacked very much from Pain Gaming. They are putting it as their main focus. PZD is going to be coming into this back hallway, looking for an opportunity to shoot the defender, peeking him wildly from the mirror window. Missing the shots, unfortunately, that's going to allow the smoke to just kind of walk away. PSK definitely not going to re-peek into that, as it is a difficult angle to challenge without an ACOG. C4 going on to the ceiling there. That's going to be right underneath the main lobby. So I'm guessing there's a... Oh, okay. Looks like we're going to have some sort of a rehost here, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not exactly sure what's happened there. We'll give you an update as to the nature of what it is that's going on as soon as we can, and whether or not that's going to count as a round win for the opposite team, or if we're just going to continue at 0-0. But either way, let's talk about that round as it was happening. See what it was that was going on there. It seemed like the attackers were setting themselves up to take a wine cellar attack, or go for a wine cellar attack. The problem I had with it, though, is it was taking them a little bit more time than I would have liked. They needed to get control over the main wine cellar hallway very early on, because you have to open up the closet to then establish the crossfire through main wine cellar hall and closet to then get the bomb plant or diffuser plant inside the default corner, and that takes a lot of time. So all this time they've been spending roam clearing and establishing control upstairs has been wasting away the round as a whole.
I also think that a reason why there was such hesitation and a delay to get onto the site was that their composition was just not suited for the defense, and you have to change things up. When you see where it is, not that I think that they were ill-prepared, because obviously both of these teams are ready for what's thrown their way, but I don't think their composition was well-suited enough to push the way they needed to onto that site. It would have been much better if it had been set up for a first floor on that kitchen and trophy room hold, and when that happened and you still had the Ella lurking, you can't make the plays that you need to until you can push her out. Now you have two things working against you. You have a composition that is not ideal, or at least what you want, as well as a roamer that can get up behind you. So those are my thoughts, at least.
I also think it has a lot to do with the Ella. The Ella play upstairs on the roam just in general. Like, that level of disruption, that was like, it was making them scared. It was making the attackers fear for their lives and getting really slow with their push. And that's not what you want in a deal. When we're talking about Chalet, I would say it's probably one of the most roamer-centric maps in the game. I mean, we just saw a matchup that was just dominated by the roam game. If we had Merciless or BRK in this matchup, I'm sure they'd be pretty happy going on to Chalet. But in this instance, yeah, it is sort of the case that they need to isolate and then execute instead of hunt or half-heartedly hunt and then start to execute, but not really. Despite that, we didn't really get to see the majority of the round, so maybe that will actually change once we get into the match.
Right.
But this is Payne's map pick, Chalet, and then moving on, if we get to, well, of course, we will be getting to a secondary map. It's going to be Border. If we get to that third map, it will be Cafe. Talking about Border. Border is a map that has 2 very commonly picked bomb sites, and then, of course, we saw yesterday from North America an attempt from Most Wanted, I believe it was, to defend the bathroom tellers, which almost cost, well, I believe it actually did cost them the map, push it onto that last one. But is that the sort of thing that we're going to see a mix-up of in this match when we get to Border? Do you think we're going to see tellers, or do you think it's just going to be the standard armory and ventilation?
I personally think that they're going to try, with as evenly matched as these teams are, to try to hold to what they know and not bother risking it, especially if they watched the previous broadcast.
Yeah.
But with that said, we are going to go to a 5-minute break as we wait for this game to get set back up between Payne and Black Dragons. So set your timers. We'll be back in roughly 5 minutes. We'll see you then. welcome back. After a little bit of a delay, we are live once again and awaiting Pain Gaming and Black Dragons to start off. An unfortunate disconnect from Black Dragons has put us back at a 0-0 ball game, and we're going to wait for them to reassemble before we go live again. We were being played on Chalet for map number 1, and they are assembling in the lobby, so it's only just a matter of time until we can launch right back into it. I would assume same site, same operators, all of that jazz, unless they get a freebie and get to start over brand new.
Yeah, we'll see exactly what happens, what the admin's call was. The thing that we do know, though, definitively, is that, again, like you said, Intero, it is 0-0. So all of what we saw happen in the first couple minutes, or minute and a half of that round, is basically meaningless.
Right.
We'll see what it is, though, that... Black Dragons can execute on Pain's defense this time, how exactly it's going to come out. Last time we saw it was Pain defending that basement, and they were very successfully delaying the Black Dragons attacking towards Trophy and the top floor, stalling out the round to a good extent. We are actually going to load into the map, though, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry to make you wait so long, and here we have it on Chalet. Again, I think it's going to be Black Dragons on attack, Pain on defense.
I would imagine so. We'd seen that they had really stalled out on their attack. It was unfortunate for them. And no, Black Dragons is going to go and attack Pain on defense.
Yep.
And the game is starting. So we'll go to Garage will be first site number 1.
As per the last time we saw this, Pain not mixing up their bomb site selection, and Black Dragons seeming to change up their operators a little bit, I think, from what we saw last time. Or no, actually, I think it might actually be the same. If they were to have switched up their operator selection, I think we would have seen a Thermite if we're talking about the Wine Cellar attack. So it might be reflective of what we saw first, which is good to see. Now it is going to be Pain, again, going for that heavy roam game. And the question, again, is will Black Dragons be able to successfully flush out those roamers, or will they be stalled out like they did last time? Drop downs getting opened up by Pain over towards the main kitchen and west lobby. That's going to allow for a lot of maneuverability for the Pain roamers should they choose to utilize it.
What it is going to allow them to do as well is they're going to be able to see the fact of what they were doing wrong on their push and be able to fix it this time around. A big example of that was allowing Spawn a lot of room to maneuver as Ella and delay them. And just a couple early preliminary shots on the door and the window there from the Ash player of Black Dragons, just in case somebody's sitting there waiting. We can obviously see that there was nobody there, and they begin their push in towards what appears to be the east lobby by Fireplace, and doing a good job of droning upstairs, ensuring that there's nobody up there. As you touched upon, this is a roamer's paradise almost, and they have to absolutely nail down where that Ella is going to be, because not only is Spawn so aggressive, but it's also an operator right now that is able to win almost every single one-on-one engagement.
All comes down to the aim of the actual person behind the wheel, though. Although you're right, much more opportunity to win those fights just outright. And as you can see here from Black Dragons, they're spending a lot of time droning out, same as they did last time, but I think they're doing it much more efficiently. And more importantly, there's not much of a roam game from Pain. In fact, I don't know if there is. No, there's no roam game from Pain Gaming. They are all within the bomb site. That means that Black Dragons need to realize this and start just kind of force out their control and utilize it to the fullest. Opening up the floor inside the main lobby, opening up the drop downs and the wine cellar walls, and whatever it is they choose to attack onto. Now, they only have the Habanas, which means they're limited in their options. They can only commit to one side of the bomb site. They have to pick which one. And it looks like they might actually be going for the B-bomb side. That means they're going to open up that bar drop down, as well as the snowmobile garage in all likelihood. It is going to be PSK at the forefront of this defense, the vanguard as it were, waiting for the attackers to drop on in and come through the main stairs. Also, there's a buck on the attacking side. That's Julio. And he is likely to open up above the mirror window, but it looks like it actually may have just been a breaching charge from Kamikaze.
Pain will scramble now as the the floor above the Breakus, their roof.
Whoa.
And this is a very interesting defense. What is going on with Pain right now? They're all seeming to push up, and Kamikaze's going to take one of them down, and he's going to have 3 more to go through, too. He's going to get a second, so Kamikaze will finally get taken down. Oh, my goodness. Revolts gets the frag off on him. And the diffuser goes down. What was Pain thinking there? They sent 4 defenders up to attack them, and now Black Dragons has control of site with PSK down, and it's all up to Revolts to get on site. 4 attackers left and diffuser down. What on earth were they thinking with that push?
I think they were thinking, let's overcommit, and they certainly did that, overcommitting to that west lobby push. I like the idea, but they got caught off guard by the Twitch playing outside the west lobby. This Revolts unfortunately only has 1 HP, and the diffuser cannot be disabled anymore, so he does not have a chance at winning this round at all. It was a nice try, but unfortunately it's just not enough. So that push into the west lobby, again, they overcommitted to be sure, but it could have possibly worked. I like the idea from Pain. It's not something we've seen before. Unfortunately, what caused them to lose that is basically just the Twitch coming in from outside west lobby, which they didn't expect, and then her just kind of moving on over into the dining table hallway without being punished whatsoever. You need to be able to catch her in that rotation in order to actually, not die in that fight, or not lose 2 people in that fight.
Right.
If the Jaeger had stayed alive, I think they could have won that round, because they needed that speed from the 3 speed to be able to rotate back around to where the diffuser was actually being planted, which was by the garage, the snowmobile garage, in order to recover the round.
Everybody's in and prepared for round number 2. And Black Dragons will begin their defense. Same area, and both of these teams starting downstairs rather than going with kitchen and trophy. It's an interesting strategy. We see a lot of the teams at this level will typically go for that first floor hold. So I would imagine either better equipped on these sites, or they are more confident in their second and will roll the die and assume that if they can take this, they can fall back on that to give themselves an easy second win.
The last time and the only time we've seen Chalet played in the Latin American region so far in this season was basically just, let's rush into the B window, let's rush into the B window, let's rush into the B window of trophy. It was a non-stop attack through that B window, and it worked for none of the teams that were committing to it. And I think, and it was that Ying who was being utilized in those pushes, and I think just kind of forced out and unnecessarily so. So I think that it might be both Black Dragons and Pain are trying to avoid over committing to a B window push in the trophy room, and as a result, and they're also a little bit worried of it, and as a result, they're going downstairs. In general, though, it is, I think, again, the Ying meta, mixing things up. I hate that I reference it so much, but that is what it seems to be the driving force between a lot of the changes that these regions are making. And, I mean, you can see here that there's no Ying being played between these 2 teams, and I think it's because they're both aware we're going to be attacking onto the basement. One thing I want to note on that is interesting as well is that Black Dragons, when they attacked, they didn't bring a thermite. And I think they were obviously aware that Pain is going to want to defend the basement, so why wouldn't they? I have to argue, or I have to question their decision-making process there and wonder if that was the right call.
If it wasn't for the Congo line of defenders marching their way up those stairs, I would imagine that hold would have been a lot easier, and without the thermite, very difficult for the attackers. They were almost gifted a win by abandoning the site. In this case, you can see that Yuna has not made a mistake and will instead, or not made the same mistake and will run a thermite. Also holding on to the diffuser too. And Psycho is getting harassed. This is great Twitch droning there now as Revolts is able to get a kill. He manages to barge his way into the dining room, and now Kamikaze is going to have to try to outfox him.
How is he allowed? How is Revolts allowed to get into dining without any contention? That is interesting when you have a roam over by the trophy side of things. That's very dangerous there for the defenders.
Great coordination you just saw from from Pain as Wag. I don't know if he got spotted by the sledge or not, but getting harassed by a Twitch drone and under fire from the sledge. And it was up to Spawn to try to take him down, but unfortunately for him, doesn't get away with it.
PCD going to be running inside the library, and he's going to be challenged by Jerry all the way over in office. Meanwhile, Spawn's going to get a kill onto Wag. A good frag there to worsen this deficit that Black Dragons has against Pain Gaming. And now it's all down to, I believe PZD is still up inside in the library. So there's only 2 anchors right now on the bomb site. Effectively a 5v2 if they attack through the wine cellar, which is what they are doing right now.
They only have 20 seconds to get in here. We're going to see we're going to see a flurry of kills. Julio and PZD take out 2, with Julio now going down to spawns. Kamikaze refrag onto spawns, and Black Dragon somehow persists. There it's a 2-on-2 with PSK getting in. He's going to get dropped down by PZD, and somehow Black Dragons looks to be pulling this round out as Kamikaze finishes off Jerry. And what an impressive hold from them to keep themselves up. And they now are at 2-0.
So it was effectively a 2v5, and then it turned very quickly into a 2v2. That Ella, all the way up in the library, was the reason that I would have called it effectively a 2v5, because there was only 2 people on the bomb site. She, despite that fact, was able to put in some effect on the round by getting a couple frags before being taken out herself upstairs. And that's very important. Most roamers caught in that situation, the attackers knew she was that the Ella was inside library and knew to cut him off, but they just were incapable of doing that. Black Dragons just came out on top in the gunfights, and that's what ended up mattering the most. If the roamer had been unsuccessful in influencing the round in any way, which was what I was expecting to happen, then it would have come down to a complete collapse from Pain onto Black Dragons, resulting in their loss more than likely. But that was not the case, and a good defense from Black Dragons. I really was not expecting them to be able to take that round away. Now, Pain Gaming are going to be defending, and it looks like it's going to be on the Kitchen Trophy, which is a different bomb. Well, it's the only time we've seen the Kitchen Trophy so far, despite the fact that Pain has not won a single match or a single round yet, including their one and only defense of the basement. So they don't want to force anything out. They want to go ahead and try for something new. Smart.
So, speaking of something new that I haven't seen so far this season in Pro League, we have Pulse running the shotgun. That makes me believe that they are very confident in the ability to play underneath the site and get those frags to deny the plants. Of course, if Revolt is also running that Nitro cell, that's going to be 2 opportunities. And that shotgun doesn't have the best destruction on it, but I think some people can argue that with the way they've changed shotguns, you'll be able to penetrate that pliable floor a lot easier than with a UMP.
Absolutely. Also, you know, you have that heartbeat sensor. You can dictate your own engagement range with that, so it is still on Pulse a very useful weapon. Now, as Black Dragon starts to aggress onto the library balcony, somehow making it up here successfully, they are actually going to take Jerry out from the main lobby balcony. That's going to mean they don't need to worry, or actually that was from offices. That means they don't have to worry about any roamers inside the library, and this Ella mine is not going to be capitalized upon. PZD able to take full control of the top floor with his teammates Kamikaze and Psycho. That's going to be a lot for Black Dragons, especially established in the first minute of the round. Now they can start to utilize the vertical control of the offices in the master window, or master bedroom, to open up the floor with Julio's shotgun and start to kill the anchors that Black Dragons has on the actual bomb site. There is spawns downstairs challenging from the connector onto Kamikaze and PZD. This is a very difficult fight to take. And there is a lot of destruction on the attacking side of this, so the soft walls could be utilized, but PZD with a shot through the wall onto spawns, that is vicious. And the man count slips away further and further from Pain towards Black Dragons.
Right now, Pain's ability to try and play a more passive game, not working and folding under pressure in both rounds to a very aggressive Black Dragons. We're going to see one of the toxic bags get expended 1 minute in. That is a desperation move to try to keep the pressure off of them from Black Dragons as the Blackbeard of Psycho look to try to push into sight. Kamikaze having a very strong round. He's at 5 frags in 3 rounds so far. And Revolt's on site just waiting for a push. And Black Dragons is going to be bringing the fire, and another frag for them as Psycho now able to get in. That takes down Yuna. And wow, Kamikaze's going to pick up another, almost a flawless round. It's just up to Revolt's on site with the heartbeat sensor, has the opportunity here to know where the push is coming from. But with that shotgun, is going to shortchange himself and not be able to fight at long range. Peeks immediately in that long sight line. He gets taken down. A flawless round from Black Dragons. They sit up 3-0 as PZD picks apart the Pulse as he looks to push out a trophy.
Black Dragons up 3-0. That is vicious and in a very quick match as well so far. These 3 rounds have just flown by. Coming on to round number 4 now, I am surprised at the speed at which Black Dragons has exerted their dominance here. This is also Pain's map pick, so they wanted to go to Chalet and they are not having a good time on Chalet. That is to be certain. Hopefully they can turn it around here and give us a more of a fight that everyone was expecting them, of course, to put up. Of course, they did come out short of that 34% for the community vote, but they were, again, this is the most, or the least one-sided community vote we've seen yet. And I was definitely behind their opinions, too. I thought this was going to be a much more of a fight than what we're seeing here so far. Only 3 rounds, though, so there is still the potential for the comeback. Now, Black Dragon's going to be defending, and they also will be defending on the Kitchen Trophy, which is the first time we've seen Black Dragons do this. The difference, of course, being that they were successful in their basement, so they need to go here. The only other option being the bar gaming room. They're going to have a nice and interesting setup upstairs of opening up torso level all of the walls on the top floor towards the office and master. That's going to give them a lot of control, but also it will also give Pain a lot of ability to attain that control equally. It's a one-way fight, you know, but Black Dragons has been winning their one-on-ones, so I think that this is going to actually work for them, despite the lack of any ACOGs on the defensive side.
You can also attribute this to, if there really are, with the new members of Pain, the 2 new additions they have to the roster, the new strats they're running, there could be some rust here. And speaking of which, Spawns goes down and PZD picks up the preliminary frag in round number 4, in which Black Dragons could potentially cruise to match point so quickly. And Black Dragons looking very impressive with their gunplay. And how coincidental would it be if the closest community poll results in us having a very lopsided match? The tragedy that would be.
Especially after the last one, which was very one-sided and then turned out to be, while we only didn't get a third map, a very close match.
2 matches,
yeah.
yes.
And then, of course, there was the upset for Most Wanted yesterday. I mean, in general, it's been all of the definitive, oh, these guys are going to win. They haven't necessarily, well, besides Rogue, of course, they haven't necessarily been all that accurate. Yuna going to get another frag on to a PZD, and now it's looking slightly better for Pain, but the time is ticking away. 1:30 on the clock, and Kamikaze challenging onto Jerry, who's challenging from the hallway trophy window. This is very display case window, excuse me. This is very difficult for him to get any actual real presence out here.
Yuna will reposition, PSK will walk right in, and Kamikaze taken out, and it's 4v3. This might be the first numbers advantage since round number 1 that we've seen Pain hold, or round number 2 rather, when it looked almost assured that they were going to be able to take that basement. Psycho is going to hit the drone and now push up aggressively on Jerry, and whether he'll be able to outpeak him or not. Oh, a great angle from Psycho. Jerry doesn't even stand a chance. That's the Blackbeard down, and that face shield isn't going to do much if you're getting shot in the torso and legs. And good control there from Psycho. With 3 operators on either side, it's anybody's game with 45 seconds left.
As the time ticks away, 3v3, again, like you said, it is going to be top stairs control for Pain, whether they know it or not, but there's still C4 on the field for Black Dragons. And as soon as Pain starts moving in upstairs, they could theoretically get some nasty presence from below. They're expecting somebody inside Master. There is not. And now they know they have that control. They're going to start their push in through the main dining doorways. The challenges, though, are going to be dealing with Wag, who's that smoke. He gets downed, in fact, inside of Kitchen, it seems. Now it's down to Psycho and Julio. Still 3 attackers left. And as the push comes in, Kitchen control now in favor of the attackers. But no, Psycho with a swift double kill, a triple kill from Psycho onto PSK, Yuna, and Revolts. Excellent angle play there, all the way from Trophy into Dining Table, holding it out against that, or excuse me, a 4K, in fact, from Psycho. Even more excellent angle play from the trophy room. That is not what you expect to see.
No, that Valkyrie clutch play from in there was a saving grace for them, and especially to take that pressure off by getting that key Blackbeard frag sitting upstairs, playing in master bedroom just by the bathroom, was so important and allowed him to rotate back to site, at which point Pain believed they had total control of above, but the moment they dropped that hatch and started to push through the dining hall, the backup forces from Black Dragons, which had rotated under the illusion that they were going to be able to push unabated, were able to slow them down. And right now, match point a blistering pace since this restart to the match, and this could be over before it's even started. Take a look at this spread here. Psycho off the back of a beautiful 4 kills last round, and the consistency of Kamikaze after 5 in the first 3 rounds, carrying the day for them right now, and Pain really has to find their 5th gear.
Yeah, Wag doesn't even have a single kill, and we're still at a 4-0. That's honestly It's like we were talking about earlier with the last match. It's, you know, they're gonna have a person at the bottom of the scoreboard, even though he's not doing anything. That means that as soon as he needs to start actually doing anything in this match, it's not gonna matter how much Pain steps up. If he's still on the board, he's going to be given that opportunity to get those frags, and he knows he wants it. You guys know he definitely wants those kills, given that he doesn't have any so far. Arguably, again, though, he doesn't need to be getting those kills in this instance, as Pain Gaming isn't really putting up much of a fight. PZD going to be challenging on to the library, same old, same old. There are going to be two roamers inside of the library. That's Spawns and Jerry. They are going to have a tough time of this. Last time Jerry roamed up here, he didn't really get much done. Revolts is in a position to try and help out his teammates, and you could see Pain is playing much more aggressively than we've seen them do in the past. It's working out for them, though, as they get two swift kills onto PZD and Psycho. That's a good start there for Pain, and this could be the very first round that they actually managed to pull away. However, I hasten to say that as Black Dragons has been at the man count deficit in the past in this matchup, and have been able to recover it every single time.
You never count them out, especially with the ability to clutch a site. The big difference for me, Black Dragons, when they clutch, they do so on defense. A lot harder for them now, losing their Blackbeard, losing their Ashe, losing the hot play of Psycho 2, who has been able to put together two incredible rounds. And now they're squaring off against a defense that has all of its gadgets still available. And even though the score is 4-0, it hasn't been as, some of these rounds have not been as commanding in favor of Black Dragons as you would assume, some of them coming down to one or two operators remaining, and not a true romp. When these teams are that evenly fought, when you are on attack, facing 5 defenders, it becomes really tough.
Look at how aggressive Pain is being right now on this back hallway towards the wine cellar hallway. Black Dragons are looking to get a foothold here, but Spawns is waiting for his opportunity to run out. You've got to imagine there's an Ela charge somewhere inside this hallway, and he's just waiting for the detonation before he peeks around the corner. Black Dragon seems to be aware of it, however, and they are waiting for just that to happen. This laser sight on WAG is going to give away their intentions, however.
And we talked about this right at the onset too, Pain playing more patient, but now that they find themselves in a hole, the aggression coming out is not so much of a surprise. Julio and Kamikaze, the last two members of Black Dragons, are going to walk in and pick up 2 key frags. That's going to be a 3-2 in favor of Pain. Yuna's going to be able to save the day by taking out Kamikaze and finishes off Julio, and Pain keeps themselves alive. 4-1, still match point, but this game is not over yet.
Can they really crawl themselves out of being in match point now for the rest of this map until we get to overtime, though? That's 3 more rounds in a row that they have to win, that Pain has to win to crawl out of this deficit. I don't think that it's possible.
It's not impossible, but I would say it's absolutely not probable, especially with the lockdown that we've seen Black Dragons do on defense. The one thing that you touched upon was perfectly said. When this clock is striking 20 seconds left and Black Dragon still even has 2 operators left, their chances of winning are still very, very good. And that's a problem for Pain.
That's exactly what we saw here on the last time we were on the basement defense. It was a 3v5, 1 roamer upstairs in the library, 2 anchoring inside the A-bomb site, waiting for that wine cellar attack from Pain. The wine cellar attack did come, but unfortunately for Pain, it was unsuccessful. The 2 anchors inside the bomb site were won their 1v1s, and unfortunately there were no double teams from Pain. And then meanwhile, the roamer upstairs was able to get frags of his own, which is unfortunate, to say the least. You really expect that when you know the roamer is inside library, you're going to be able to lock him down and, again, challenge him with your teammate. I think it comes down to Pain's lack of coordination with each other, and lack of, again, challenging fights with teammates. No refrag potential equals no recovery from losing men, despite the man disadvantage.
The key observation that I've made so far is that it's Black Dragons taking the fight to Pain every single time. There is no aggression from them. And I know that they said that their focus was on being less aggressive than they have in the past, but the one opportunity where we've seen them be as aggressive as they used to be, they pulled off a victory. And maybe that's going to be their key to success moving forward. And if I was their IGL or their shot caller, that would be in the back of my mind, as we're already down 4-1. Yes, statistically there is a high chance that we will not be successful on map number 1, but at very minimum, we can try to find what works and take it to map number 2, and if that means changing your strategy, so be it.
As time ticks away here, Pain looking like they're going to be executing on 2. Actually, I'm not entirely sure where they're going to be going here. They've set themselves out outside of the main lobby, and outside of the B window, but they're not really doing much else. They aren't putting any pressure on the top floor yet, and there's already a minute left, lost in the round. Kamikaze's going to get the first kill of the round onto Spawns. That looks like he was just peeking out into the west lobby. Nice angle play there from Kamikaze. However, that's, again, the sort of thing that really shouldn't be happening for the attacker. Spawns playing a dangerous angle to get taken out there. And it looks like Pain is just lingering outside. Which is really, you can't do that. This doesn't work when you're attacking onto Chalet. I mean, it reminds me of Hereford when Hereford was in the Pro League. What would happen on a first floor defense is the attackers would just linger outside the first floor, challenging in through the windows and get stalled out. Jerry's going to vault in through the B window, though, and also get taken out from Kamikaze. This is the sort of thing that you need to have some sort of disruption in place in order to facilitate that push in through B window. You can't just dry dock it. It doesn't work. And as a result, Pain is going to be at a three man to 5 on possibly the last round of the map.
Psycho's going to get hit from that Twitch drone. Scrambling Pain will need to get a frag or two, but as Psycho takes down Yuna, there's only 2 members left on match point. We will move to border if Black Dragons prove to be successful. It's all up to PSK and Revolts. You can see Kamikaze just drop there. Revolts will finally get Pain on the board before get taken out by Kamikaze, who's got 3 kills on this round. And now they just wait. Oh, Kamikaze's hot play gets chilled by PSK. That FAMA's so strong, but Wag gets the final kill and finds himself on the board just in time to give Black Dragons a pretty astonishing 5-1 victory, a commanding performance, and now we go to border for the very first time in Latin America this season.
Yeah, and I'm honestly surprised by that fact. The first time we've seen border in Latin America, border is one of those maps that is so prevalent in every single region, and I would have expected to see more of it throughout this season so far. Of course, this is only the second play day, but still, it is a little surprising we didn't see it on play day number 1. Now, border, is this going to give Pain the opportunity to try and bounce back or not? I really don't know. Let's take a look at some of the highlights from that previous map, though, Chalet, before we move on to that. I think that moving on to border, I do think that Black Dragon is still going to be successful. What I'm seeing from Pain here today is just a lack of communication, coordination, and overall strategy. That last round especially, they just all lingered outside.
Right.
And I hate to harp on that so much, but here's that awesome 4K, a quick 3K in succession, but a 4K total.
A bona fide triple kill.
A bona fide triple kill, yeah. We don't necessarily do that in this game as it's not as fast-paced as some others, but still kind of, you know, it's cool when it happens.
Still nice to see somebody be able to rip through people in such a short time frame. And
one magazine.
One magazine, that's it. You know, 3 bullets and a dream. So it's just, for me, if I was watching over Pain, my key takeaway from this map was, yes, you might be setting yourself up to have your abilities translate outside of Latin America, but you got to get there first. And right now, this thoughtful, think things through, be very well coordinated is simply being smothered by the aggression from Black Dragon. So, with that said, I would try and change up the strategy, at least for border. See what works, see if you can get something going, and potentially take back that hallmark and patented aggression that they know they have, that a lot of Latin American teams respond well to, because right now, Black Dragons is running all over them.
Yeah, and it seems to be just Black Dragons getting very aggressive too. I'm sure it's a coordinated, organized aggression, but it's, you know, it's facilitating your own pushes, right? It's not just kind of going. That, because it doesn't work anymore. It used to way back in every region except for Europe, arguably. But it just doesn't work anymore. And while it was the round that Pain managed to win, that was on defense. They don't really need to coordinate aggression necessarily on defense. In fact, the one round they did coordinate aggression on defense resulted in them losing as they pushed up 4 people into West Lobby. That wasn't successful.
Well, there's aggression, and then there's quirky strategies that I don't think are...
But it was an aggressive, quirky strategy.
It was aggressive and quirky. That is fair. That is very fair.
All the things. But, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be getting into border. Thank you so much for waiting. And it will be loading in just a second. Now, I think Pain has obviously, as always, with every team, the potential to bring it back. But Black Dragons looks very dominant. I think this is going to be the dominant match of the night.
Finally, a Ying makes her presence known in this matchup, and it will be as we go, of course, to Armory. 3 minutes left in the match. Armory, 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 3 min as if there's another place that they would decide to defend first here on border.
We've seen ventilation, but nah. I mean, most people go to army. It's pretty much the common go-to. We saw from Most Wanted yesterday. They went to bathroom tellers first, if you'll recall.
I don't remember that. I don't. Tell me about it.
Oh yeah, so they went to tellers and they lost the map, and yeah, that was probably why.
Oh, are those two interconnected? I wonder.
Yeah. But Pain Gaming going to go upstairs. They're going to open up the rotation between CCTV and the bomb site. They're also going to be putting a mirror window on that wall you just saw Bandit staring at. That's going to give them a lot of control over this, over CCTV in general. We'll give them a lot of control over the south doorway to CCTV as well as the east hallway. And then you also put the other mirror window over on the west balcony facing wall from the A bomb site. And that gives you complete control over CCTV as a whole and all the balconies surrounding it. So, yeah.
Typical mirror fashion there to give them control of that long hallway. And Black Dragons already starting. Kamikaze, the top fragger. The most, I guess, impressive performance for me last round was how well Kamikaze was able to work as one of their entry fraggers, but also how they always had Psycho there as a backup to clutch things out as that blend of aggressive roam, but also flex and support. He could get back to site as an anchor as well. And putting Kamikaze on Ying, an operator whose gun is not the greatest, and the fact that the utility is more important than fragging potential, that could end up being an unwise move, and we'll see over this round how well it turns out.
Yeah, the gun's not the greatest, but if there's somebody who's going to make good use of it, I would argue Kamikaze, he can do it. He's good at aiming for that headshot. So we'll see if it actually works out for them. It does favor, in my opinion, attacking from the offices, and it doesn't actually seem that that is Black Dragon's intent, as they are setting themselves up primarily to take into CCTV and this west balcony. The Twitch has opened up the west balcony facing mirror window. However, actually, I believe that was Psycho from below. However, it's not really going to matter as they still don't have control over CCTV as a whole, and the time is starting to tick away. Sure, Revolts won't be getting any kills through that mirror, but still, the control is not there. They need to really start this pressure, and Psycho is going to do just that with taking out Spawns, the Ella, who is playing inside of CCTV to back up Yuna.
When you have your entry fraggers, such as Spawns, such as Jerry or PSK, taking this fight to them, and wow, an absolutely unbelievable succession there, as it's going to be 4 kills in a row. Psycho's just going to leap over and spray down Jerry, and Black Dragons, that aggression coming right to the fold, and a flawless round as PZD sprays through PSK. Black Dragons, their reign of terror continues as they take round 1 on border in a hurry.
That was a massacre, and it was mostly just quick and concise gunplay. The level of strategy being implemented there from Black Dragons was fleeting. They had a little bit going on in disabling that west balcony mirror window, and then they took out the other roamer along the side of the mirror inside of CCTV, allowing them to pressure onto mirror with almost no challenge whatsoever. However, in general, it was just that round just came down to winning gunfights there for Black Dragons. I mean, that shot from Psycho onto the Jaeger downstairs, that was insane. That was a wonderful shot, and honestly, comes down to that Jaeger missing his is why we're seeing Pain Gaming right now at such a deficit, and it seems like the momentum is completely against them. Almost no potential for recovery. I don't see it.
I don't want to write them off just yet, as time and time again, you can always see a team come back from the dead and be able to tie things up, and it's perfectly possible that that could happen. But if the last match was any indicator, and now as we move forward on border in that first round, it just seems like there's something missing on Pain. I don't know what it is exactly, because it's not really our job to do a post-mortem. That's what the teams are going to do when they review this footage and all that sort of thing. But to me, the main takeaway right now is that they are just simply being gunned down in every single fight by Black Dragons.
Yeah, they can't win.
There's nothing they can do. Whether it's positioning, whether it's gunfights, they are just simply not winning. And they're losing every engagement, they're losing every opportunity, they're being outstratted. And I don't know if they have to revert to what they know, but they're running out of time. There's only potentially four rounds left with how quickly game number 1 went.
And I can tell you, ladies and gentlemen, I've been in that same position, being on a team that, has potential and is a good, solid team, yet going up against somebody who is just clearly right now seeming to be better. I've been in that position. I've come back and I beat that team later. So it's possible this might be, you know, of course, don't write off Pain, but this might be the end of Pain. But coming back to go up against Black Dragons next, I would expect them to bounce back strong, because this sort of experience, losing so definitively as they have been throughout this map, or not this map, this series, gives you a lot to learn from.
And there were high hopes for this team with the roster changes too. I know the members were excited, and I know there was
Yeah.
interest as well on social media. And, you know, I'm hesitant to say that it was simply because of the organizations that Black Dragons was able to get those votes in the community vote, but they're definitely earning the faith that the people on social media have put in them right now. And half the round to go, WAG is going to get harassed by a Twitch drone and knows that his position is given away.
He's falling back, though.
He falls down and seeks comfort, assuming that because Pain was going to push up on him, but they're not.
That's 3 different Black Dragons roamers downstairs now. 2 C4s. Oh, WAG is actually made his way up to the main stairs, so not 3 anymore. But still, nobody holding hard and B. They're going to be relying on that C4 from below to deny the diffuser plant inside the B-bomb site, which stands to reason given that the B-bomb site is fairly small. There's not much room to cover with the C4s, and you could, in theory, stall out the last minute of this round pretty easily just with that utility. They also have the smokes, who are going to be delaying, and the Ellos as well, who will be doing the same. This Kamikaze playing from the mirror window at CCTV can get shots onto the players inside office, but with the Blackbeard challenging him, it's very difficult to win that fight.
Only 40 seconds. Round number 2. Black Dragons holding on. And another time, how many times are we going to see a sledge just literally smash their way onto site? Psycho gets lead-off frag. Julio, a double kill with the C4 onto Yuna and Jerry. And now the round is over as soon as it starts. Incredible. Black Dragons couldn't even capture all of the action. 2-0.
I just want to say, and I hate to harp on Pain right now, but I've seen dominant matches before, and this is something else right here. All of the defenses, all of the attacks from Black Dragons are just perfectly executed, and it just seems like Pain isn't in the right frame of mind. Again, I've seen Pain play recently. You know, outside of the actual Pro League, they have a lot of skill, they've got a lot of potential, and I know that they can force these rounds out. Something's going on right now. Maybe it's the comms. Maybe it's one player is just not focused enough. Maybe someone's not fulfilling their role. Maybe there's something trippy going on. Maybe they're afraid of the team. Whatever the case be, this isn't the Pain I'm used to seeing. The Black Dragons that I'm seeing right now, though, is on another level.
Spawns, being their primary entry fragger, is the person that they rely upon to get these kills and to lead the team. And if you keep track of all the rounds we've played so far today, of the 8, Spawns has been one of the first casualties in every single round. That's a problem. When your entry fragger, or the person that you rely upon to lead this team in terms of kills and fragging potential, it's tough. And not that you can pin all the blame on one person, I don't want anybody thinking that, but it speaks to the testament of the team. When your entry fraggers are not doing their job and your roamers are not doing their job, everything else falls apart very quickly, and Black Dragons has the opportunity to do that, and that's exactly what you see.
I mean, on that note, basically the reason that Pain lost that last round was because they didn't clear out the roam game. I mean, if you're going to attack into offices and B-bomb site, and the enemy's playing C4 from below, 2 C4s from below, then you have to deal with those C4s before you attack into the bomb site. And it's so clear as day as to that is happening. It really is obvious. The fact that they weren't holding anyone inside office, the fact that they weren't holding anyone inside the B-bomb site, oh, we're not being challenged all the way through? What does that mean? It's a trap! That's what that means. So, unfortunately, Pain didn't read into that. And now we are going to have, again, that lead continuing for Black Dragons. Now, they're attacking onto Armory yet again, because Pain has been unsuccessful on their defenses so far, and they are going to continue to try and force out the Armory, which, I mean, it stands to reason. Ventilation, I would argue, is just a slightly harder to defend Armory. It's not that much different, but overall, this is going to be the more comfortable spot for Pain, which, all right, that makes sense. And now Pain using these holes, this is kind of interesting. They're waiting for the buck to come from below, but they're looking the wrong way as Yuna is going to possibly be taken out from below. Revolt steps over the hole. Gosh, Psycho not utilizing his opportunity, not getting into that. And unfortunately, there will be no pressure, or well, unfortunately for Psycho, there will be no pressure onto Pain from below, but now Pain is at least forced off of those positions and a little bit scared of the buck from underneath.
There was a bit of hesitation there. He tried to get a couple shots off, then saw the bandit move, and then pulled out that skeleton key to try and open more up of the floor. It just didn't work out for him, and it was a lost opportunity because that could have been the leadoff frag that knocks them on their heels instead. Now Black Dragons, not in any worse shape, but they find themselves down 1 as Revolt gets kill number 1
that
on
was
Psycho.
Psycho through the floor because he didn't put any pressure in early on into that round. He hesitated shooting that bandit. Now the bandit's going to kill him.
Kamikaze presses up to Armory from just outside of security. And you can see they are waiting. That is a very late mirror that is going to go down
Love
from
those.
Yuna, but a smart play from them to give them that information. And PZD waits as the Hibana pellets blow their way through that Armory wall.
This is kind of a stalled out attack round from Black Dragons. This is the first time we've seen them not have direct success with everything they've done.
Kamikaze went for a spray through there, and oh, what a play from Revolt. He gets immediately refragged from Wag, so a glorified trade as a C4 is going to go down. It's going to miss. Yuna gets blinded yet again, and is just holed up there inside of that office. What a play now as we see Black Dragons come alive. Julio and PZD able to take out Spawns and Jerry, and it's the Mira and Smoke left. Those are the 2 anchors you need. Diffuser goes down. A great play from Yuna there to eliminate Wag. A 2v2 left with the Diffuser going off just inside of Armory. Oh, PZD picks up another kill on Yuna, and PSK answers back by taking him out. It's Julio and PSK, the 2 SAS operators. A nice smoke, but the hang time is not going to be the same length. Julio gets around the corner, gets a couple shots off, and PSK is going to give himself away. That Diffuser, though, ticking in the background, and Julio, a good shot from behind the shelf, and Black Dragons 3-0. Only 1 round so far for Pain Gaming in the last 9 rounds.
That's got to be disheartening. And that clutch, I think, might be the final nail in the coffin. It came down to a 1-on-1. That's the closest it's ever been in this entire matchup that hasn't been a win for Pain in terms of rounds. So, and losing that, that has got to be disheartening. That's got to put you in a spot where you're like, okay, well, we got to come up with something new. We have to come up with a new plan because this is clearly not working. One thing that's great is now they're going to be able to attack onto Black Dragon's ventilation rather than their armory, which might be a little bit easier for them. The problem, though, okay, so what did we see there last round? I have to say, Black Dragons did not play as well that last round, as we've seen them play throughout this entire match. They made a couple of major mistakes. Psycho from below, not really putting in any work. The Ying forcing her way in through the A wall without also not putting any real work. But despite that, effectively making it kind of a 5-on-3, despite that, it was still really easy, seemingly, for Black Dragons to just force their way into the bomb site and start getting the frags to make the comeback happen. Which, you know, when you've got the main advantage, you just need to consolidate. Play safe, play smart, and you should win the round, but it's just not happening for Pain. The very standard just will not shine through here. And now, they're going to be attacking onto that, like we talked about, ventilation. They're likely to come from customs. That's what we've been seeing a lot of lately. It's also possible that they'll still use that top floor mentality where, okay, if we can take the top floor, specifically an office, we can then attack through tellers and bathroom, open up the wall into the back of the workshop, and get a nice, easy, quick defuse plan. We'll see what bomb site they decide to go for now. Actually, they're doing a bit of both. Revolts is going to be moving his way into supply in just a second, opening up the wall that faces into A, and cutting off between the middle of the bomb sites. That's a really good angle to play, even if you're going to be attacking into office, which seems like another thing they're doing, because you only have to send one person to execute both of these.
Right. For me, the big thing last round, if I was Yuna, I would be extremely frustrated. That C4 toss after the Mira had gone down onto that armory wall sailed through one of the Hibana holes. Rather than hitting the wall or even the door frame, had it been even an inch to the left, it would have been able to get the diffuser before it went off. But because it sailed through the hole, the blast radius was away from the diffuser, and of course the operator setting it down. But that was last round. Now we jump to round 4 with potentially match point on the line. And Wag has already sustained significant damage and licks his wounds inside a bathroom with Julio there for some supporting fire. And that's going to be an early smoke and hopefully try to deter Yuna from being able to get through, but will still crawl away, standing in that smoke. And is going to go for it. As that smoke lingers, they'll be able to get that exothermic charge off. And Pain needing to take advantage of the fact that Wag is low. Another smoke now too, but they've still managed to open up that wall into Armory. Or sorry, not Armory, into servers and workshop. And Wag sits and waits his unit drones. Kamikaze from above is going to be, to me, the playmaker going forward. Revolts gets Psycho, and with how little WAG has, it is essentially going to be a 5v3, or a 3v5 rather, if WAG even takes one single bullet.
47 seconds left now, and this execution is coming off slowly for Pain, but it's going to accelerate here as Jerry gets his first kill of this round onto WAG. Black Dragons losing a lot of ground, a lot of manpower here, and another kill for Pain. Spawns onto Kamikaze. It's all down to Julio and PZD now. Black Dragons are looking like they might lose the first round of this map as Julio gets down. PZD 1 versus 5. Can he get the ace to stop the push here from Revolts? He is going to give away his actually give away his position before hitting the headshot. Nice shot there from PZD, but it's not enough as PSK secures the round by taking out Julio inside of B.
There's a good play and a nice long angle sight there. All it took was one tap as the Ela vaulted back inside of the bomb site. Black Dragons looked disorganized. After WAG took all that damage, did not allow them to have the flexibility with smoke, and because of that, the retreat was necessary. They weren't able to prevent the exothermic charge going off, and then it was very simple for Pain to just push in and take advantage of the fact that the team was quite split.
There's nothing from Black Dragons at all to stop the push. That's
Absolutely.
it. That's all it comes down to. If they had anything set up to deal with a bathroom push, apart from, okay, let's stick a smoke and a Mira inside the corner of bathroom, they probably could have taken that round. Another thing is those two operators, the smoke and the Mira inside a bathroom, well, they fell off of bathroom. Like, they did not want to hold that hard 90 angle. They were afraid of it. I think that might be because of that early damage they acquired in the very first minute of the round, but it could have been just straight up a missed position. Like maybe they got caught off guard early in the round and didn't actually want to be in there. And then in that case, why did they open the rotation hole? There's a lot of big questions for that defense, for Black Dragons. Why did you do this? Why did you do that? And ultimately, I feel like they were less certain, as you said, less certain of themselves as a group as they have been for every other round so far in this series.
Right. And right now, you can still lose a round. You don't lose full momentum. I think Black Dragons is a team that has accrued enough momentum and enough confidence over the last match and a half that this isn't going to blunt what they have so far. It does give Pain a bit of an uplifting spirit to be able to execute their strategies better because they were successful. And yes, it could have been because of the site. You were right. You touched upon that. You said now they have to go to the one site they don't prefer. It happens. But now it's up to Pain to prove that this wasn't a one-off and be able to do it again, because if not, then we will go to match point, and I'm assuming we're going to see a very smoke and hard entry style attack now, given the Glaz and Ying combo. Kamikaze back on Ying to take the fragging potential, and he's actually underperformed so far, and if it wasn't for PZD, this would be a closer match.
Yeah, so the thing to note here is last time that Black Dragons attacked onto the Armory, they did win, yes, but it was a close round, and arguably it was a bit of a throw from Pain Gaming. It came down to a 1v1 despite the throw, though, and it almost was Pain's round. There were so many people on Black Dragons who were forfeited for no reason, accomplished zero things, and ultimately didn't help at all. I think it really is going to come down to Black Dragons to make sure that doesn't happen, of course, again. But also, Pain doing a very good job of delaying this push. Revolts bandit tricking the mirror window, denying that entry to Black Dragons is going to further delay this push with only half the round to go. Psycho gonna push himself in through the main doorway, though, take out Revolts. A good kill there before being downed and finished off himself. PSK with the refrag, definitely necessary. The mirror window still hasn't been opened, but it's being opened as we speak. Yuna's gonna put down the second one now on the small office, and that's gonna be the hard hold continuing from Pain Gaming. Really reading into this very simple attack strategy from Black Dragons, which is let's push in through the A wall, and Pain stacking multiple different players and utility to stop that. I think Black Dragons needs to rotate to office. They need to change
something. They have too many operators grouped up in one position. The big question is going to be, what are they able to accomplish with Kamikaze? They almost were able to flush out that smoke, but a nicely timed smoke. They've already had one go down, though, so they will need to wait it out and then make their push, and it looks like Kamikaze might actually be rotating before deciding to dart back through the smoke. They're able to use some droning to find PSK, and they miss that first Candela. They'll try to push in, but Yuna's going to get around the corner right as that Candela's out. Another smoke is going to go down, and they have the benefit there. PSK is going to get another kill, a third kill for PSK before he gets down by Kamikaze. Kamikaze goes for a second, can't do it. Yuna gets that kill, but Julio immediate refrag, and there's only one member of Black Dragons left. A great shot on Spawns, but he doesn't see Yuna in the corner, and Pain puts two together, and we have a close tie, or a close game, almost a tie, 3-2 for Black Dragons.
I would argue that these last two rounds have been a huge momentum shift, despite only being 2 in a row for Pain Gaming. They are proving to themselves and to Black Dragons and to us that they have the potential to win these rounds, as we were talking about earlier. And that is everything, as it seemed like in the previous rounds it was complete dominance for Black Dragons. Now Pain has bared their teeth, and I want to see this continue. I hope to see this continue. The problem is Black Dragons now gets to defend Arsenal, which came down last time they were here to those roamers downstairs using the C4 onto the B bomb site. Now, obviously Pain is going to be aware of this. Will they force out the roamers, try to challenge them from below, or will they simply go to a different bomb site? That is the question. I think they need to force out the roamers either way, because even if they go to A, then they're bottlenecking themselves the same way that we just saw Black Dragons bottleneck themselves, and more importantly, the C4 can still be utilized from below. I'm curious to see how it is that Pain chooses to handle that.
A lot of fragging potential from Pain now, as well as destructibility with the lineup they bring to the table. Still seeing Spawn and Jerry, the two people that we were told they rely upon to get these kills, and they're underperforming at the moment. If they are able to tighten this up, too, on top of their play in this round, if they are able to bring the heat, then Pain could potentially seize this game and tie it up and then push themselves forward. I do like the site that Black Dragons has, as you touched upon. They've been very successful on Armory so far, and I don't anticipate it's going to be any different this time.
Well, I mean, arguably, I think you're right. I think it's going to be the same. But arguably, it was because Pain overlooked the roaming C4 from below. We talked about this earlier. They're not going to be able to overlook that. There's no way. They don't know that's why they lost that round last time. So I'm sure they're going to have something in mind to deal with it. Actually, it doesn't even look like there is. Nope, it's just Psycho downstairs, and he actually gets taken out by Revolt. So that's the only C4 that is currently downstairs eliminated now for Black Dragons. Pain, there you go, reading into that strategy and countering it. However, Julio still has his C4 and can drop at any moment.
And losing an important member of your team like Psycho, who has been so good these last two matches, not so much on Border as we did see on Chalet, but we know the potential is there. Kamikaze's going to get some shots on Jerry. Oh, what a couple rounds. If that one bullet had hit his body and rather his face shield, that would have been all she wrote for the Blackbeard, who does hold the diffuser. And it looks like Kamikaze's going to be attempting a run out now as well.
Oh, this is dangerous. It could pay off, though.
He's going to try to get one. He gets Yuna through it, and it looks like he's going to get two. A huge play from Kamikaze on Yuna and Jerry. What a play. It paid off absolutely. And that is going to give some wind to the sails of Black Dragons and absolutely frustrate Pain with 4v3 and 1 minute and 15 seconds to go. Black Dragons needed something to wake themselves from their slumber, and this could have been it. PSK will pick up that diffuser, and Revolt still downstairs will have to push up towards the site through the barbed wire on stairs. And it's going to be a question mark as to who can get there first, as Black Dragons is just going to wait. Spawn is going to get hit with that gas grenade, and Julio's going to pick up a kill on PSK. That whole wall torn to pieces. It's all up to Revolts and Spawns to hold off what would be a move to match point.
They still have plenty of time. Pain still has plenty of time to make this happen. But the man disadvantage is going to make it extremely difficult, of course. And now it's just dwindled down into a 1-1-4. As Revolts gets taken out from the top of the stairs, it's all down to Spawns now. Just shimmy his way through this barbed wire and then eventually challenge onto Kamikaze. Kamikaze's going for some more kills. I mean, he definitely is the MVP of this particular round, and he will get the final one on the Spawns. No real question there what was going to happen. A nice round from Black Dragons, all coming down to the excellent play of Kamikaze. That's got to be a spectator bug. Don't know what's up with that. Don't worry too much about it, though, guys, as it will be now match point in favor of Black Dragons.
That's not a vac shot. Don't worry.
Yeah. That's just us seeing that. I'm pretty sure.
Just us seeing that. Just as sometimes the ACOGs will be all out of alignment and they'll look around and that sort of thing. For me, big issue with that last round. Revolts did an excellent job breaching in through detention, pushing up to the metal detectors, and being able to take, or customs rather, as it's more suitably called, and being able to get that pick on Psycho. But there was a whole lot of action that happened over the next minute and 20 seconds in which Ash stayed down there. I don't know if it was an anti-flank roll or not, but as an Ash, your job is not to sit idle and guard a spot. You are the person that your team relies upon to get up there, and it took about 45 seconds for Ash to hit that barbed wire and start to ascend white stairs, only to come back down and still stay down there. That was a waste, especially when they allowed Kamikaze to go unchecked up top.
I think the thought process with that was, okay, we need our Ashe down there so she can rotate back into the fight when we really need her. But that only works if your actual mainline attackers stay alive.
Right.
She needs something to back up when she comes off the flank hold. And then there wasn't that. The entire main push just died off. And now you have Pain. They're going to be defending ventilation. This is the secondary bomb site. They don't want to be doing this in an attempt to deny Black Dragons this complete shutout. That was a really nice hold from Black Dragons, by the way, on the last round. Despite losing that C4 early on, what happened is just Pain got stalled out. They lost their fights. Kamikaze went huge. If it weren't for him, I don't think that could. I think that would have been much closer.
And we saw Kamikaze come alive at the perfect time, too. We've talked a lot about impact frags, but more importantly than that is when somebody such as Kamikaze, who is a frag getter for this team, is unable to perform, it's not going to do so great for your chances of your team. Now that Kamikaze was able to pull in a couple kills, 3 in particular on that round, it made a significant difference. And I know it sounds silly because everybody would say, well, of course, if you're getting 3 kills in a round, it makes a significant difference. But those were 3 key frags, and especially 2 of them on the Thermite and the Blackbeard is going to take pressure off. You're not going to be able to hold those angles, and you're not going to have the same destructibility that you'd have when you only leave the Hibana left.
The Thermite and the Blackbeard kills completely destroyed the attack into offices, because you can't open the B-bomb site wall now. You just can't do that. And then you also cannot challenge the mirror window in CCTV if it should be there, which I believe it was. That's why Kamikaze was in CCTV in the first place. First kill this round is going to be from Psycho onto Jerry. That wasn't actually PZD's kills. It was Psycho from behind. Revolts is looking to get the refrag, but he's actually going to miss the shot and the C4 as PZD pushes into small office. However, a good headshot there from Revolts is going to end up getting the trade before Psycho finishes him off. And below the C4, this is what we talked about.
They left Yuna uncontested, gets the Nitro kill, no pressure whatsoever from the bottom, as it seems that Black Dragons has invested an awful lot of their entire team to clear this out. But from above, a very important wild card here, Julio running the Fuse, and the first time we've actually seen Fuse this week. A cluster charge going off. A lot of cases will be very good at taking out the equipment and gadgets, but may not be the most proficient in actually getting a frag or 2, especially not at this level of play. An IQ here as well for backup to take out those excess electronics, and a 3v3 is what we're left with 45 seconds to go at what could be the end of this matchup between 2 teams that has been not quite as even as we expected, especially map number 1 where Black Dragons played as powerfully as they did.
33 seconds now. 33 seconds, 3 on 3. And Kamikaze is just looking for his opportunity. The problem is he's going to have to challenge PSK, who's holding a hard 90-degree angle inside of the bathroom with full HP this time. He's got all he needs to destroy any Black Dragon push coming through this doorway. With the time ticking away as well, there's not many options for Black Dragons. They have to commit.
Oh, PSK is going to come in. He's going to take down Kamikaze before he himself gets taken down by Wag, who then gets sprayed down by Spawns. Spawns is going to come up. Julio's going to get 1 kill. It's simply a 1-on-1. The Ela versus the Fuse, but no diffuser for him. A war of attrition as the defense holds on, and we are still playing border. Pain manages to hold on.
This is stretching out much further than I expected it to. It might even get to the overtime. It has been. That is the saving round there, though. I mean, it was 2 rounds in a row earlier. Then we saw the comeback from, or the solidifying of the map from Black Dragons, putting it onto that match point. And now finally another comeback from Pain Gaming to put it on to 4-3. They just have one more leg in the race to push them into that overtime. But even if they do that, it's still a question of can they win in the overtime, because all of these wins that Pain Gaming have been getting, each and every one of these rounds, have been extremely close. The only win that Black Dragons got that was even remotely close was that one-on-one fight where they threw away too many people in the early game in their A bomb site attack upstairs.
When it was Julio left off, sitting upstairs, and he got that great peek around that one cabinet.
And that last round all came down to Black Dragons wasting way way too much time clearing out those roamers before actually making the push into the bomb sites through bathroom and tellers. If you're going to make a late game push, you're not doing it through bathrooms and tellers. That's just too risky. You need to be able to choose a better option, especially if you've established the upstairs control. Utilize that, or at least try to force that out, as you need to have something going in your favor when you're at the man disadvantage.
A great amount of depth right now on Black Dragon's roster too. Psycho and Kamikaze have started to pull up themselves by their bootstraps, I suppose you could say. But the team's fortunes have not risen accordingly. In the last 4 rounds, Black Dragons has only been able to win 1 after stitching together a 3-0 lead. That is a problem in the sense that Pain has found something that is working, and of course Black Dragons, when you are winning that badly, it's very easy for you to get frustrated with a loss or two. I had stated that with the way they've been playing, momentum probably didn't shift away from them, but who knows? It's very possible that they think they're better than how close this game is right now, and that could be playing into it with some frustration and misplays too.
I think the mentality with Pain, what it's got to be, is just like, you know what? We were so far behind. I think we maybe were taking it too seriously, and now we'll just try to win. Like, let's just take ourselves a little bit less seriously. Let's play the match the way we know we can play the match, and we'll see where it takes us. And it's been working great for them. I have to assume that's what's going on in their heads, because usually when you get more serious and more intense and more focused in a match like this, it's actually going to be worse for you, as it'll distract you from just playing the game the way you know you and your team are capable of playing the game. And this is what we've been seeing from Pain. Just that, playing the game the way they know they can.
And reverting to the strategies that have worked well for them in the past to get them to where they are. They've been a lot more aggressive, and Black Dragons has looked simply outmaneuvered in a number of instances.
I would want to say I don't agree, but I do. I mean, it is mostly just Pain getting more aggressive. It's weird to see that work. In this instance, especially with Black Dragons being a team, they were being very aggressive. That's why they were being so successful in the earlier rounds. Now it was formatted aggression, it was strategized aggression, but it was still just pure let's go, 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 whether it be on attack or defense. And now that Pain has started jumping into that pile, I think that they're just kind of playing the same game as Black Dragons, whereas they were trying to play someone else's in the past. But all that aside, it is still going to be Pain attacking onto a ventilation. They are going to be coming from the office and the archives, where they have the control right now, waiting to challenge onto PZD. Now this fight is going to be pretty important when it comes to the outcome of this round as a whole. PZD is going to get droned out along with Kamikaze, and now they just have to stay alive as long as they possibly can. 45 seconds left to go. It's down to a time stall for Pain.
And there's 2 of them. A great shot on PZD, a bullet pen through that armory locker, and Revolts will get taken down. Now Yuna comes in, and Pain in commanding performance. 5v3 in favor of them with 30 seconds to go to push us into overtime. And Yuna will lurk towards the site. They still have the Mira, and a Nitro Cell will come down from said Mira as Julio takes out Spawns, but PSK refrags, and now Psycho gets one onto PSK. So it's Julio and Psycho left. Yuna is going to take a couple shots from that Vector. He pulls out the shotgun and the rare Mira sidearm kill, as Psycho also takes down Jerry. It's only up to Revolt, but he doesn't have the diffuser, and he's going to run out of time. Get ready, BRK, because you play Black Dragons by a score of 5-3. They take down Pain Gaming by the skin of their teeth in what could have gone to overtime. Black Dragons prevails.
So, no map number 3, no cafe. An excellent 2-0 there from Black Dragons. Now, that last round was honestly vicious. It did seem like, honestly, it was a Pain round. They completely cleared out that top floor, and not only that, but in the best possible outcome. No losses whatsoever, dealing with both the roamers with plenty of time. No one defaulted back to the bomb site, and then they were allowed to use that vertical control, but they underutilized it. They didn't really get into it. They didn't open up more holes. They didn't start looking for the anchors. They just kind of started coming down one by one and dying one by one in the same fashion. And as a result, it's going to be Black Dragons walking away with a nice, quick, easy win.
And the people were right. The masses were right. It was closer. That second